Thank you very much for giving the opportunity to share our work with you. My name's Paul Allen from the Centre for Alternative Technology in Wales. We've been working to model a zero-carbon transition since 2007, when we launched the first report in the UK Parliament. We've been looking in deeper and deeper detail at how you power down the amount of energy we need to deliver what society wants, whilst powering up clean, renewable energy. We've also looked at diets, food, land use. In 2017, we looked at what are the barriers and how we overcome them. We've got detailed models using hourly modelling with 10 years' worth of real-world data. It's absolutely clear now. We have all the tools and technologies we need for this transition. What we need to identify is the barriers, political, cultural, social. But in order to give confidence to society and the policymakers involved in COP24, we've been talking to all our collaborators that we've got to know over the years, who are also doing rapid decarbonisation modelling that are helping overcome the yawning chasm between what's politically acceptable and the rates of decarbonisation that the physics demands to deliver a climate-secure future. And we've brought it here to share it with you today. The report's called Raising Ambition. It brings together 130 visions from all over the world to show that we can run all hours, all year on clean, renewable energy. We look at modelling that's happening at the global scale. We look at models from all sorts of different modelers, and we've pulled out from the 130 scenarios some good case studies that can really bring to life what we understand about global energy systems and that we can keep the lights on all year round, 100% renewables. But we've also been looking at regional case studies as well, looking at Baltic regions, Mekong area, or looking at the Nordic regions gathering together around clean energy strategies. But most of the scenarios are actually national level case studies where we've looked at different countries around the world, Tanzania, Uganda, New Zealand, France, where we've got modelling that can show what needs to happen to create license within these societies for the transition that's necessary. But then cities are often where the future happens first. We've also been looking at sub-national case studies, not just cities but city regions, Swansea Bay or the Basque Country, and pulling those into the scenario. So starting off at a global level, there is clear evidence that we can move from the mix of energies we have now to 100% renewables by 2050, if not before. The report, Global Energy Systems based on 100% renewable power sector from LUT and Energy Watch Group, provides really powerful evidence that we can do this. And then on a regional level, we look at how the Nordic countries are all exploring collaborations to use their massive onshore wind power, plus the fact that they can begin to use their hydropower as like a big battery for Europe, where they can take the surplus power when there's excess beyond demand, store it, and then dispatch it when it's needed. Nordic Energy Technology Perspectives for 2016. Very powerful piece of work. And then in New Zealand's already well on the path in terms of energy transitions. It's got lots of clean energy, but what it needs to do is to get to zero, like we all do. So it's exploring what else needs to happen. This has led to some really interesting conversations about land use and about agricultural practice. So net zero New Zealand, scenarios to achieve domestic emissions neutrality in the second half of the century. But then boiling it down to sort of the cities and subnational regions, Los Angeles is doing enormously powerful research, looking at how the organization that delivers city regional services can actually switch to 100% renewable energy by 2030. They've done really interesting 100% renewable scenarios for this. All of this powerful research is highlighted in the report. We've got all the hot links so you can begin to download and have a look at what's going on around in the world. The conclusions, well, key finding number one is that since our assessment in 2015, which we did with Track Zero, the number of ambitious scenarios has grown by 30%, and their scope has spread to include many more low-income countries. But only 32 out of all the countries in the world have ambitious scenarios that are comparable with what Paris demands. That's a mere 16%. there are still many low-income countries that are lacking publicly acceptable zero-carbon scenarios. So we need more collaborations between experienced modelers and the countries which need support. The second key finding is that hourly modelling has increased, and that gives assurance that clean energy can meet demand 24 hours a day and across the seasons. And many of the scenarios showed that making the switch to 100% renewables actually becomes cheaper than business as usual when all the costs are taken into account. Another key finding is that land use is a missing piece. Too many scenarios just focus on energy or even just electricity. Only 5 out of the full 130 included land use in their modelling. Hiding in plain sight, land use is both a missing link and an underestimated asset, not only for sustainable agriculture, healthy diets and recreation, but also for natural carbon management. And finally, we need to bring everybody to the table. Fewer than 5 of the 130 scenarios were developed using a participatory, multi-stakeholder process that brings people together and delivers better results. Also, multi-sector modelling is needed, so we need to include energy, transport, buildings, land use and sustainable natural carbon sinks in the model. But a multi-solving approach is really useful too, which identifies the co-benefits such as cleaner air, better diets, more people moving around, or the employment benefits. So we're pleased to be able to offer this to you today, and you can download a copy from zerocarbonbritain.org. It's free. It's got lots and lots of positive examples from around the world that you can follow up and use. Thank you very much.